Picking a niche. In this video, we're going to dive into 4 key components in selecting a niche for your online business. Hey fellow entrepreneurs, Adam Dukes here, and like I said, this video is going to be talking about finding a niche, a pocket of people. That's what Andre Chaperon refers to it as. I like that pocket of people one. A market, your market, or a starving crowd. That is what old-time marketing legend Gary Halbert used to call it, starving crowd. And I'm going to share a story about starving crowd here in a couple minutes, but this is arguably the most important step in an online business. It could be an offline business, is your market, your niche, your pocket of people, the starving crowd. This is, like I said, it's step numero uno. Online or offline, it really doesn't matter. A lot of people, especially in the online world, overlook this step, don't spend enough time on this step. It could be boring is what a lot of people talk about, like the market research. However, the people who are wildly successful because they know their market. Knowing your market is something that you don't finish, or you're done. You're constantly learning about your market. Your market's constantly tweaking, your market's constantly evolving. So this is an ongoing process. It's never done. And I'm going to share a couple tips with you on how to get to know your market better. So let me open up my little, I'm actually doing a Google sheet here, or Google slide presentation. Typically I just do a Google sheet, but we're going to do a presentation and we will dive right in here. Close that out, present. So how to uncover a wildly profitable niche. 3 key components when selecting a niche. I'm actually going to give you a 4th one that I just thought of right before I flipped on the switch for the video. So remember, I want to hammer this home. I'm going to talk about this a lot because this is so important. It simplifies things. Online marketing comes down to 2 things and 2 things only. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't confuse it, add frustration. I did it for years. A lot of people like to overcomplicate it, and I find when you're overcomplicated with something, it's much harder to take action. So the 2 things, number 1 is traffic. So you need traffic. So whether that's traffic to your website, traffic to your sales page, traffic to your email opt-in, traffic to your YouTube channel, traffic to your podcast, whatever it is, you need traffic. And then the second one is conversion. So some of that traffic is going to convert either into a lead and or a sale. It's going to be typically it's going to be one or the other. So what I like to do is I like to share a story of a mall to kind of give a little comparison. So let's say 100 people are walking. Let's say you have a shoe store in the mall and 100 people walk by your shoe store. That would be traffic. 100 people walk by your store. Now 20 of those 100 people go into your store. So that would be a conversion. Going into your store would be called a what we would call a lead in the online space. So let's say out of 20 of those people, 5 of those people buy something for you. That's also a conversion because now they're a customer. So now you can look at it, and these are like levers, traffic and conversions. And you want to figure out, how do I increase the traffic? But you can also increase conversions. Now, most people spend a ton of time, money, and energy on increasing the traffic. But I like to use the bucket analogy. Let's say you're not converting as much traffic as you should. Your business is like a bucket and you have holes in it. Pour more water in, yes, you're going to get pour more traffic basically, but you still have holes in the bucket. It's much easier, much more efficient and effective to plug those holes, meaning to increase the conversions from lead to sale, or from walking by the store to coming in the store. It's much easier to increase the conversions before increasing the traffic. So there's a lot of different things you could do to increase the conversions, but you want to do that before you ramp up the traffic or the water. So that's kind of my mall / bucket analogy. Hopefully you kind of get the picture a little bit, but that's exactly how the online world works too. Traffic and conversions. And again, just like a shoe store in the mall, traffic and conversions, it's the same thing. It's just one's in the online space, one's in the offline space, but every business operates like that. They're going to get people that come in their door. They're going to some of that's going to convert into buyers. So the online world works just like the offline world in that respect. So a niche, like I said, a starving crowd, a market, a pocket of people, per Andre Chaperon. Call it whatever the hell you want. They're all pretty much interchangeable. So years and years ago, years ago. Gary Halbert, who was responsible for billions, with a B, billions of dollars in sales in like the direct response world of like selling newspapers, advertisements, and magazines, things like that. Back in the day, back before the internet, where you had to actually cut out the ad in the newspaper or magazine, write it, take a pen, write it, put it in an envelope, lick it, steal it, stamp it, seal it, mail it out. Like that was how they converted. Like the online world, we have it so goddamn easy compared to what they had. So Gary Halbert was given a presentation, and he said, if we were to open up a hamburger stand, and he asked the crowd, he asked the audience, I will give you one thing that you think will make it the best hamburger stand. So people were saying, I'm going to have the best ingredients. I'm going to have the best location. I'm going to have it in Times Square on New York City. Other people were saying, it's going to be the juiciest, biggest hamburger. It's going to be bigger than all the other hamburgers. They were throwing out all these things. And he was like, I'll mop the floor with each and every one of you. I don't care what it is. You can give out the damn hamburgers. I will still beat you. I want a starving crowd. That's all he wanted, was a starving crowd. So I love that story. I heard it years and years ago. I try to retell it. Gary does a much better job. He retold it in paper. He passed away a few years ago. Rest in peace, Mr. Halbert. But starving crowd, that is kind of what you want to do. So find a starving crowd being a group of people, a pocket of people with a problem who are desperately, frantically looking for a solution. So finding a niche, as you can see, the bigger the problem, the more money to be made. If it's let's say someone's 600 pounds, they need to lose weight, or they're going to die, they are willing to spend a lot of money, as opposed to, let's say, someone who has a paper cut. That's a problem, but it's not a big problem. They can put a Band-Aid on it. Problem solved, So finding a niche. Component number 1, do you have an interest and or a passion in it? Arguably this, this is the most important component. I find you have to have an interest and or passion in it, because eventually you're going to burn out. You're going to have to be putting content out there, unless you want to hire someone to write the content or produce the content. But you want to have an interest, because again, there's going to be dark days, months, dark days, dark weeks, possibly dark months. And when you have a passion and or an interest in something, I find it's much easier to push through those dark times, or those tough times, I should say. When you don't have an interest or a passion in it, it's pretty easy to throw in the towel. Years ago, I started a Shopify store selling women's jewelry, and I did really, really well with it. And after about 14 months, I ran it for about 14 months and did really well with it. But about month 8 or 9, I just really, I had no interest. I was making a lot of money, a lot of profit. I took my dad to the Masters, paid off a shit ton of debt, but I didn't have an interest or passion in it whatsoever. I chased the money, and eventually, even when the money was good, it wasn't tough times. I got super complacent, and I ended up shutting down the store. I couldn't do it anymore. So it just didn't light me up. It doesn't necessarily have to light you up. For me, it did. So I quit, even not during tough times. So I recommend picking a niche that you have an interest or passion in. It just makes it so much easier. But again, you don't have to. There's plenty of people out there that have no interest or passion, the golf niche. There's a lot of money to be made in the golf niche. They just hire golf experts to create the content or the product or whatever it is they are selling, going and interviewing other golfers and things like that. You certainly could do that. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I find having an interest or a passion in it, you want to enjoy what you're doing. Finding a niche. Component number 2, how many times a day does your market think about the problem? This is a big one. I should say that's a mistake. How many times does your market think about the problem? So is it monthly? Is it like once a month they think about the problem, kind of just passing through? Maybe weekly. Weekly is going to be a little bit better. It's a constant reminder. They get, I got to solve this problem. Is it daily? That's even better. They're constantly thinking about the problem. Even better is multiple times a day. Is this something that's going on in their head? God, I got to find a solution. This is really worrying me, really bugging me. It's affecting other areas of my life, my family, my friends, whatever it is. So here are some examples. So getting your ex back. This is a wildly profitable niche. I think women have it, but especially with men. This is something guys think about 1,200 times more a day. And I know because I wasn't in the market, but I was trying to get my ex back at one point, and it was something I thought about every fucking second of the day. 1,200 times a day would probably be on the low end at first, over time it gets better, but this is something that they think about all the damn time. It consumes them. It definitely can affect their work, their job, their other relationships, their health, their mind. So this is a great example of getting your ex back. Guys battling erectile dysfunction. This is something that men, I would imagine, I don't have that problem. I'm only 38, but I'd imagine they think about this problem a lot, and it probably destroys their confidence. It affects their self-worth. It affects a lot of other, and their mindset, and then it can affect their health, their job performance, their relationships, obviously. So this is another one that guys probably think of multiple times a day. Married couples on the brink of divorce. I would go to say that yes. Well, depending, the husband or the wife, one of them might want the divorce, so they might not be worried about it, but the other half certainly could, or they both certainly could be worrying about it, and they're likely thinking about this, stressing about this, worrying about this each and every day, especially if there's kids involved and they have a family and they don't want to break up the home. They're thinking about this multiple times a day. This is a pressing problem. This would be a very hot niche. People who are in debt, which is, I don't know, 95% of the country. Every time that phone rings, and it's not like a stored number in their phone, they're worried that it could be a bill collector, a collection agency, a credit card company, student loan company, someone looking for money. I've been there. It's not fun, you just ignore the phone calls, but deep in your head or back in your head that shit, I need to solve this problem. I need to solve this problem at some point. You can't run from it forever, Everybody tries to. I did it for years trying to run from the debt collectors, but it eventually catches up to you. So that's another one, people who are in debt. Another one, newly engaged couples about to get married. Now, this isn't necessarily a problem, but this is something that they are thinking about. They can't wait for the wedding. They want the wedding to be perfect, things like that. So there is another example of these. All 5 of these examples are problems that people think of, again, multiple times a day. Like I said, that top one, getting your ex back, it's hundreds, if not thousands of times a day. So that's why that niche is so popular, is because it's it's a big problem for a lot of men, and some women too, of course. It's a big problem for a lot of men. So here's some other examples of these are problems, but they're not the pressing problems. People aren't thinking about this most likely multiple times a day. So people looking for a recipe to cook dinner, to make some type of a meal for either the family, or they got maybe on a Tuesday afternoon, a wife's looking at Pinterest looking for recipes to make dinner for the family that night, or maybe a man is having a woman over, planning a dinner date Saturday night, looking up recipes. Not a pressing problem, it's more of maybe once during the week type of problem. People who have a hard time with grammar, spelling. I'm not the best with my grammar. There's some spelling errors like there, E-R-E and E-I-R. At 38 years old, I still can't get those to Tim, and I've tried my hardest to learn the differences, but I just can't do it. So it's not a problem I think about. I make fun of myself about it. It's not a pressing problem, but it is a problem, and it can be a problem for certain people. If you're in college and you may be studying for like being an English teacher, this could be a pressing problem. This could be something that you think about multiple times a day, because you need to have good grammar and good spelling if you're going to be an English professor. So people who have weeds in their yard, myself, the last couple weeks it's rained out here in Vegas, and I was out washing the car this morning, or out drying the car this morning, I should say, and I noticed all the weeds in the yard. I've been seeing them the last couple days because the sun's been out these last few days, and the weeds are out. Not a pressing problem, I guess I could say I maybe think about it once a day when I go outside, but it's not a pressing problem. It's getting to be a pressing problem, but not something that keeps me up at night. People who are interested in origami or any type of hobby, fishing, hiking, camping, traveling, it's not something that they think about all the time. It might not be a problem. It's more of a hobby, but they do think about it, So these are examples of, I think that's the last one. So these are examples of, there could be problems or hobbies, there can be hobby niches that you can work in, like origami, hiking, fishing, camping, traveling. But again, the problems that I listed aren't things that they think about on a daily basis, or multiple times a day, I should say. So niche component, finding a niche component number 3, how strongly do they feel about the problem? Like, is there emotion attached to this problem? Do they think about it all the time? And how emotional does it make them? Because the more emotional, the more motivated. Going back to getting your X back, you're very, very motivated. You're very emotional, I should say, of trying to get the X back. I'm speaking from experience. Origami. Yeah, I might really enjoy origami. I'm not super emotional about it. It's something I don't really think about. Like, I take a shower every day. Am I emotional about it? No, I'm not emotional. I brush my teeth twice a day. Am I emotional about brushing my teeth? Not really. So it's not necessarily how often you think about it or do it. It has to be emotion. It has to have emotion wrapped in it as well. Because then again, more emotion, more motivated to solve that problem. So niche component, or component number 4 for finding a niche, do they talk about it? This is a big one. So some of the health issues, for men and or women, they might not be comfortable talking about it or admitting it. But a lot of places have online forums where you can discuss problems. Again, with some of the health issues, I could certainly see men erectile dysfunction. That's not something men want to sit and talk about, whether it's online or whether it's in person. That's something that's pretty embarrassing that they want to keep to themselves. I'm sure there's women health issues as well. I'm just not familiar with them, that they want to probably keep to themselves. They might talk about it with some friends, but there's probably some that they don't want to really admit to anybody, so they just kind of hold it in. So are they talking about it? So are there online forums around this topic, like making money online? There's quite a few online forums. It's how I got started in 2010, of people talking about wanting to make money online. Are there Facebook groups? This is another one. They're very, very similar to online groups. There's a Facebook group for damn near everything, it seems like. But are there Facebook groups talking about this topic, this subject, this problem, looking for a solution? Is there a pocket of people together that are trying to find a solution, or they're together to work together to support each other or to answer questions? I was writing ads for a neuropathy patient. I think it was 2 summers ago. I didn't even know what the hell neuropathy was. And like a week later, I found a neuropathy forum, a couple neuropathy forums, and I started reading about I was going through all the posts, and holy shit, what a horrible thing to have to deal with. And I was reading through some of these stories of people, of what they were going through, and it was like, a lot of people compared it to their feet being on fire. Like, that's how the pain, So I got a really good, within like a week, I didn't know what neuropathy was. And a week later, I'm in the forums finding out the pain that these people are going through, the embarrassment with their husband and or wife, having to carry them up to the bedroom, things like that. All this crazy shit that I didn't have any clue about the week before, but I found it through online forums. So online forums are really popular. Really powerful. Reddit is another one. I don't know if I spelled that right. I'm not a big Reddit user at all, but I know there's like subreddits of a lot of different topics, different niches, different pockets of people talking about different subjects. So maybe there's Reddit groups in there. That's another good indicator. Hey, this might be a viable niche. Are there meetup groups? Meetup's another popular one to, meet up online, or invitation online, and then meet up in the real world. So are there meetup groups about the topic, or that people get together and discuss? Now, this isn't like, it doesn't have to be, if there's a market, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, for people, if people are 70 years old and older, they might not be in Reddit discussing that, they might just get together a coffee at like the local Starbucks every Sunday morning and discuss whatever it is that they're in. So the online forum, it's not like a must, but it's a good indicator. Is there a forum of people talking about it? Is there groups on Facebook where there's groups of people talking about this issue, this problem, this niche, this market? That's a good indicator that is a good niche to get in. So those are the 4 components. Wait, hold up real quick. Imagine having a sales force working for you 24/7, 365. And get this sales force, they're never going to call in sick. They're not going to be late to work. They're certainly not going to show up hungover. They're not going to whine about overtime benefits or taking a vacation. And best of all, this sales force is not going to flirt with Debbie in accounting. That's what an online marketing system can do for you. I recently put together a completely free affiliate business in a box. I'm calling it Foolproof Profits. You can check it out at the link below at totaldads.com/start. Just give me your name, your email, and you'll get the complete system that you can model my success. Of finding a wildly profitable niche. Like I said, that first one I think is the most important. Having an interest in it, having a passion for it. Like, I'm a dad, so I like teaching dads how to be dadpreneurs. Pretty simple. I've lived it. I know how to talk about it. I know the stresses of it, the balances of the kids and things like that, and finding time. There's times I record videos. My bedroom's right or on the other side of that wall right there, and Ava's bed's right there. Ashton still sometimes sleeps, or he still sleeps in my bed, which I know is a bad dad. But there's times I'll record videos at night where I can't be as loud and animated. Obviously, they're not home today. They're with their mom, but there's times where I have to kind of keep it down. But I know I have to get them to bed at night. I try to get them to bed at 8:30 so I can do some work. So I know how to balance and juggle, because a lot of the dads, I don't have time. I have a full-time job. I have a wife and 3 kids. I have a dog, blah, 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 blah. I don't have time. And so then I can share, here's what's worked for me. I carve out little pieces of time here. Saturday mornings when the kids get up and they're eating breakfast, I'll be on my laptop writing a blog post, or writing an outline for a video, So I find this little pockets of time in where I can do my work so I can relate to these dads, because time and money are the 2 biggest excuses for just about anyone starting an online business. And then I can also talk about, hey, here's what I've done. Here's what I did, not having any money. You don't need any money to get started. You do need some work, you're going to need some more time. And so I'm able to share that because I'm living it. I lived it and I'm currently living it. So I know the struggles and I can be empathetic. And that is the key with marketing, is empathy. So if you can be empathetic, that is a big, big boost. So if you've been in the marketplace, or you are part of the marketplace, or you are the target market, that is a big, big advantage. So not only that, of course, I like being a dad and I like helping other dads. That's probably not something I'm going to get sick of anytime soon or ever. It's not going to be like die out, So those are the 4 components. Apply those before starting business. Apply it now if you're already running a business, and kind of maybe fine tune some things, maybe zero in on it and get a little bit better at it. So, hey, I recently, just launched it last night actually, depending on when this video gets published. Foolproof Profits. It is a complete affiliate business in a box. You can check out the link down in the description. It's totaldads.com/start. It's a complete business in a box, and I hate that term, business in a box, but that truly is what it is, and it's easier to get the point across saying business in a box. It's a complete funnel that you can use. I show you exactly step-by-step over-the-shoulder videos on how to set up a funnel that's working for you 24/7, 365, generating leads and sales around the clock, no matter what you're doing, where you're at, 2 in the morning on a Tuesday, out walking the dog on a Wednesday, with the kids at the park on a Saturday. This thing is a machine, always working. Check it out below, totaldads.com/start. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, as always, please drop them down below. I'll do my absolute best to answer those questions. If I can't answer them, I will try to find someone who can, or point you in the right direction, or the right resource, whatever I can do. Last but certainly not least, if you like these types of videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Click that little bell notification, because I release 2 videos each and every week for your viewing pleasure. And we're here in March in 2020, and I'm committed to doing a video a day for the next 30 days. So again, hit that subscribe button and click that little bell notification so you're alerted every time I publish a video. As always, thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it.